Hello guys, mkoaje? I hope and believe kila mtu wako poa. Since we last met, this is Ernest Masharia, your accountant. Karibuni sana in today's session. In this channel, kama ndio mara yako ya kwanza kujiunga nasi, we mostly deal with accounting issues. So kama uko pale, you want any service to do with accounting, taxation, and anything that relates to accounting, feel free to talk to us. We shall try as much as possible to sort you out. So also, if it's your first time, remember to subscribe, remember to like, to share to your friends, invite them. Let's also help each other, tusaidike pamoja, and at the end of the day, sisi wote tutafurahia for the achievements. So we started a very wide topic on taxation, and I remember when we were here last time, we talked about the excess duty, and thank you very much for those people who are still watching the episode. Share to your friends, share to those people who are in that field, so that they can be enlightened and they know what they are supposed to do, so that they can comply with the tax laws and regulations. So we have tried to look at various types of taxes, and I promised you, when we shall meet again, we shall try to educate each other on matters to do with the turnover tax. So today I have prepared something very interesting that is to do with the turnover taxes, and have your notebook, have a pen. We shall start our topic of the turnover tax. So I don't know if you have ever heard of this name, ama ndio mara yako ya kwanza kuisikia. I know those people who are VAT registered taxpayers, hii jina wamepatana nayo ama wameipata wakiregister. And also to those people maybe who file or pay the income tax for the company at the end of the year, I know also you have heard about this turnover tax. So what is this turnover tax that I'm talking about? A turnover tax is a tax charged on businesses, so it's not charged on personal basis. So those people who've registered for individual income taxes, they cannot be affected by this turnover tax. It is a tax charged on businesses whose gross turnover is more than 1 million but does not exceed 25 million during in a year of income. So if you are there and you are doing business that is generating a turnover of 1 million plus or less than 25 million, you are required by law to register for this turnover tax. So if it exceeds the 25 million, you are required to register for the income tax for the company or the corporate tax for the company. So, and you can register both. Hakuna mahali imesemekana ati if you register for the turnover tax, you can't register for the income tax. It's upon you to choose. But if it exceeds 25 million, so you, in this case, you can opt to not to register for the turnover tax. You register for the income tax, hata kama your turnover is less than 25 million. So hapa hujafungiwa ama hujawekewa restriction. But what you are restricted is you must make sure that your turnover tax or turnover does not exceed 25 million. So iki exceed, then you are required to register for the income tax at the to be paid at the end of the year. So what is the rate of this turnover tax? It is payable at the rate of 3% on gross sales effective 1st of July 2023 as the Finance Act 2023. So this is under the Finance Act 2023, but from March 2024, the rate changed to 1.5%. So kama hujapata the update, I know the system itself is well updated. So ukiingia kwa iTax, when filing the turnover taxes, haiwezi kukupatia the wrong rate. So ingia pare, just verify which is the rate that you are using to pay the turnover tax. Eligibility. Who are those people eligible for turnover tax registration? It's any resident person or corporate whose gross or expected turnover is more than Kenya shillings 1 million, but does not exceed or expected to exceed Kenya shillings 25 million in any year of income. So iki exceed, do the necessary. However, a person may erect by notice in writing to the commissioner not to be taxed under turnover tax, in which case the other provisions of the Income Tax Act shall apply to such a person. So unaweza sikia hutaki tena kukuwa unalipa the turnover tax, unataka kulipa the income tax. You can write to the commissioner requesting for the obligation to be removed from your account, and it shall be that. So for you to be eligible to register for the turnover tax, your turnover must be more than 1 million and not more than 25 million Kenya shillings. So this turnover tax, the taxpayer dealing with vatable surprise and has a turnover of Kenya shillings 5 million and above is required to register for VAT as well. So ukifikisha the threshold of the VAT, which is 5 million, and you had registered for the turnover tax, and also you are dealing with vatable surprise, because unaweza kuwa umefikisha 5 million but your surprise are not vatable. If you are dealing with a vatable surprise, zimefika 5 million, the threshold for the VAT, and you have registered for the turnover tax, then the law requires you also to register for the value added tax. And after registering for the value added tax, you must follow the requirements or the regulations for the VAT, filing of the returns, paying of the due or the tax due on time, failure to which it will attract penalties. So make sure also, after you have registered for the VAT, you know what is required of you by law. So who are these, or which are these incomes which are exempted from the turnover taxes? 1, rental income. So rental income is not subject to, cannot be subject to turnover tax. 2, management or professional or training fees. 3, any income which is subject to a final withholding tax under the Income Tax Act, e.g., qualifying dividends and interests. Additionally, turnover tax does not apply to non-resident taxpayers. It does not apply to non-resident taxpayers. This is a tax for resident individuals only. Benefits of this turnover tax. If you register for this turnover tax, what might you enjoy? 1, it reduces record keeping expenses because registered taxpayers are only required to keep daily gross sales records and daily purchases records. Simple. Hakuna vitu za expenses nini. 2, simply filing and payment process, including payments through mobile. So ni rahisi kufile na kulipa, straightforward. 3, reduced time for filing and paying taxes. So ukilinganisha na VAT, it's very fast to file and pay. 4, it's a final tax. So ukilipia, ushafunga vitabu zako, ushamalizana nayo, na ni hivyo, it's settled. 5, one is not required to file end of year income tax return on income subject to turnover tax. So ukishalipa, kwa sababu tumeisema ni final tax, ukisha file, you are not required to file the income tax return as that of somebody mwenye hakulipia the turnover tax, who is now required to file the income tax at the end of the year. Remember, huyu mtu hata enjoy the benefit number 1 of reduced record keeping expenses, because for you to file this income tax, you must keep your books properly, accurate. Also, you might need an expert to audit your books, to categorize your expenses. So you might incur a lot of expenses rather than registering for the TOT, that is turnover tax. What or which is the due date for filing and paying the turnover tax? A person subject to turnover tax under this section shall submit a return and pay the tax due to the commissioner on or before 20th day of the month following the end of the tax period. What do I mean? Like, we are in November. So in this month, we are supposed to file the turnover tax for October on or before 20th of this month. Ukuwe umeshamaliza kufile na ushalipa, to avoid penalties, kwa sababu it will attract penalties And which are these penalties? One, if you file the turnover tax rate, you will end up attracting a penalty of 1,000 Kenya shillings per month. And if you don't pay on time, it will attract a penalty of 5% of the tax due. And also this tax due will accrue an interest of 1% of the unpaid tax. So kama uko na tax yenye hujalipa itakuwa ina grow at a rate of 1%. Point to note, when calculating the turnover tax, no expenses are allowed for deductions. So unachukua the gross turnover venye iko, hakuna kitu unatoa. So turnover tax is charged on the gross sales and it is a final tax. Ukishailipa, ushamaliza, ushafunga, hakuna maneno ingine, ni hivyo. So kama umefikisha those eligibility, it's high time you have to comply, register and do the necessary. So with that, kama uko pale wewe ni mwanabiashara, hujaregister for VAT, hujaregister for the income tax, register for the turnover tax. So thank you very much for your time. And before I leave, there is a proposal for the tax amendments 2024. Have you seen it? Itafute, go through that. It is going to be tabled on the parliament. I don't know when, but before then, I'll try to find time to go through the points zenye zinaweza kuwa zinatuguza directly, negatively or positively. Tuziangalie hapa, tuelimishane, so that hata ikiletwa we will be in a position to understand ni nini hii ambayo inaintroduciwa, kwa sababu in this channel it's where you will always be updated on matters to do with accounting and taxation. So thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to support us in any way you can. I'm grateful for those who have supported the channel, watched, liked, shared, and are still there for us. May God bless you. Thank you very much. Until next time, thank you.